Hey there, everybody. Just trying out something new here. Given the new, layout of my room, what I'm actually doing right now is I actually have my camera mounted on the bottom shelf of that display case for my model locomotives. So, yeah, hopefully that'll actually give you guys a better opening for any potential loco profiling episodes. Well, not potential. Obviously, there's going to be more. I have some stuff cooked up for the next few episodes, obviously. I already finished the script for the Fury episode, which will hopefully be fully ready to be uploaded on Halloween. So yeah, just got to get around to doing the voice recording, maybe find a few more pictures, and then edit it all together, and then boom. But this is also a little bit of a video regarding a pretty regarding a pretty important bit of news to come out of the American steam locomotive preservation scene last week. There was a guy called Kelly Lynch, who was actually one of the most prominent volunteers or members of the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society. And he gave a bit of a press conference and a speech or whatever at a railroad museum that I don't know the entire name of, but I do sort of know it's in the city of Elkhart, Indiana. Yeah. You guys know the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society, obviously. I mean, they're the organization that owns, runs, and maintains Nickel Plate Road 765. They actually went as far as to do something particularly big that nobody had ever imagined would ever happen. Well, some people were probably people who were kind of hoping for it, but up till recently that was just wishful thinking at best. Now it's just cold hard reality. The Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society has acquired another steam locomotive in the form of New York Central 3001, one of the two preserved 482 mountain types from the New York Central Railroad. Even though, yes, before anybody starts correcting me, the Central called its mountain-type locomotives Mohawks, after the Mohawk River, which ran near some of the New York Central's railroad tracks that were part of the so-called water level route. It's also a similar reason why they called their Northerns the Niagaras, and why they had the honor of naming the 464 wheel arrangement, and they called them Hudsons. In fact, a little bit of a fun rumor, if there is any truth to it, if the Central ever had plans to buy Challengers, they would have called them Cuyahogas. Once again, after a river that ran next to some of the Central's trackage. But anyway, yeah, we're actually getting an operational New York Central steam locomotive in a number of years. Obviously, it's going to cost several $1 million, but it's more than just rebuilding the 3001. They also got a whole set of New York Central passenger carriages to go along with it. So we can they have to be updated to modern standards, but once finished, we actually can enjoy the sight of something that nobody could have imagined would ever happen again. A fully operational, steam-powered New York Central passenger train. Locomotive, carriages, it's all New York Central. Maybe you might have to have a diesel for extra assistance, but chances are likely that even then they're probably going to try to have it at least painted up in New York Central livery. But maybe that's just wishful thinking, but yeah. We're getting a slice of history from the New York Central in action in a number of years. Truthfully speaking, though, as awesome as it sounds, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed because, the 3001 is one of only two preserved New York Central Mohawks, and I've always had a bigger preference for the other one, Locomotive 2933, which is on display at the Museum of Transportation in St. Louis, Missouri. And, I just think that the 2933 looks a little bit nicer. The 3001, I'm not entirely keen on the smoke deflectors. I don't think they look all that great. It wasn't until somewhat recently that I discovered that the 3001 also has an asymmetric window layout on the sides of the cab. Like you have that big open window on the right-hand side for the engineer to lean out of, but on the left-hand side for the fireman, it's also there, but it's pushed further to the front, or more so to the middle, which allows for extra space for another narrower window behind it, corresponding with an additional seat that the head-end brakeman or the road foreman can sit down on behind the fireman. Why did you guys do that? I mean, it's stupid. That actually drives me nuts. And I'm not entirely keen on the number plate right now, because it's a very particular style of New York Central number plate that has an oval-shaped nameplate for the railroad that's directly integrated into the same casting. You know, it's like attached to the bottom of the number plate, and I don't like that. Every time I see that, I just want to get up there and snap that nameplate off and toss it into the bin. Yeah, 2933, none of those issues. Granted, there are a few small nitpicks on it as well, like, granted, 3001 does have a nicer looking pilot with a proper cow catcher compared to 2933, which has a so-called switcher pilot. Not exactly good on a big mainline locomotive. And, you know, 3001 has box-buck driving wheels compared to the spoked driving wheels on 2933. But then 2933 gets extra respect for me because it's, as far as I know, the only preserved steam locomotive on the North American continent with the Alesco preheater system, where the preheater is, you know, shaped like a round tube, where it's properly mounted like on a German locomotive. So it sits behind the actual front of the smoke box, and it's properly pushed down within the boiler barrel. Let me just give you guys a little bit of a look, because let me just get my desk lamp up here. You can kind of see what I mean here. Ooh, you can sort of see what I mean here on this Baureihe 44 locomotive. You see that round thing here? That's the actual preheater. Okay, come on. Okay, yeah, that's still a pretty good amount of lighting. Let me just actually get a pen. So for the newbies out here, this round drum that I'm actually tapping here with the pen, that's the preheater. So yeah, the 2933 is the only North American steam locomotive to have, you know, an Alesco preheater, or just any preheater that's shaped like a drum, mounted like this. That's good. So yeah. Oh, sorry. I mean, but at the end, 3001 was perhaps the better choice, mainly because of the fact that even though neither preserved Mohawk locomotive is in particularly great shape, apparently 3001 is at least in better shape compared to 2933 when it comes to the mechanical stuff, etc. But, you know, that alone should be a very big factor when it comes to rebuilding and restoring a steam locomotive. I mean, 2933 is a great looker. It's in very good cosmetic shape, but if it doesn't prove to be in very good shape on the inside when it comes to the mechanics, there's no real point in trying to restore it. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. I would have preferred the other Mohawk, but again, I understand why they took the 3001 instead. Though, I do have to end the video on a little bit of a more nitpicky shtick, which is that already one of our resident idiots within the YouTube train fandom, Darkness the Curse, has also made a video on it where, you know, he falls into his standard habit of mispronouncing things, with one of his most standout examples being the road number of the Mohawk that's currently being rebuilt. He never says 3001. He always says 3001. And you have no idea how much you just want to grab him by the neck and start strangling him for that. Okay, just filming a new outro for the video, because maybe I was a little bit too harsh, but please, Darkness, just pronounce that road number as 3001, like a normal person would. Because honestly, 3001 doesn't sound right. It sounds wrong. Do what most of us do. 3001, that's it. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and yeah, I'll probably get busy with doing more work on local profiling episode 17 now. Fury awaits.